Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 4, is it?
Yeah,
Part 4 with my interview with Blade Shaw. I've already said what titles he's won, it doesn't matter. Alright? Yeah. So, Blade, thank you for being back here on the podcast.
Thank you.
Just finishing off your WZWA career after Resolution 3.
Yep.
And from Resolution 3, basically, well, actually, let's just stay at Resolution 3. We've still got a little bit to talk about.
Yep.
A couple of people have retired and all that.
Yes.
But during the following match after the winner takes all match, there is a World Hardcore title match between Jacob Antilicus and Rex Reagan.
Yeah.
During the match, for whatever reason, Rex pushes Jack off his chair.
Yep.
And then Jack tries to start a real fight with him in the middle of a fake fight. And then Jack goes upstairs, he's angry. The match ends, and then there's a confrontation with you and Rex Reagan. What happens?
So, after the end of the match, I kind of talked to a couple of people, and they had said to me, maybe it's best to talk to Chris and, get him to hash it out with Jack. Because, obviously, there was something that needed to be talked about because there was a lot of beef, instantaneously between them.
Yeah.
So I approached Chris right after his match and was like, look, man, you need to, sort your shit out and go and talk to Jack, right now. And he basically turned around to me and was like, look, I don't care what you're saying, get the fuck out of my face, sort of thing. And, like I said previously in the podcast, I have a big thing about, respect. And in my eyes, I've spent a lot of time in backyard wrestling. I said to Chris, I don't care what you think, show me some respect and, get your shit together and go and sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was just like, I don't give a fuck what you think. And I was like, if you don't give a fuck what I think, then I'm going to floor you. Basically, that's it. And he was like, yeah, go ahead then. And that to me was that's the sign of disrespect, as in, he doesn't give a shit. He would rather me, attempt to drop him than just admit that he was, in the wrong.
Yeah.
And so I left it. I basically walked off because I was fuming.
You were fuming and you came up to me and you said, Chris is done.
Yeah.
He's not welcome back. Don't let him back. Get rid of him.
Because, it's well documented that not only I, but you and other people have had issues with Chris. And at that point I thought, fuck it. Why does this guy keep getting multiple chances when all he's done is being a selfish prat? But to his credit, after everything had cooled down, he'd spoken to Jack. He came and spoke to me and said, look, man, I apologize. I was just kind of running off adrenaline at the end of my match, and I didn't mean to do what I did. I'm generally a pretty peace-loving, friendly sort of dude, so I was like, look, man,
these things happen if you try to talk sense into someone who's just had a hardcore match and they're running on adrenaline, and there's an issue going on where someone tried to fight him in the middle of his wrestling match, then of course he's going to react in a certain way.
Yeah, I think it was just a miscommunication between the two of us, and that's fine. Chris is aware of his faults, I think, as much as anybody else, and, I
think he's totally different now.
He's recognised the fact that I think that people have pointed out things that he does that irk people a lot, and he's worked to try and stop doing them as much.
Yeah, and this was always a constant in WZWA. I was always at odds with Chris. Sometimes we'd be alright for a few months, but then we'd be at odds again. And, 2014 was a tough year between he and I, especially near the end of the year when I was pretty much done with it, and I was like, if he wants to leave, he can leave.
Yeah.
I'm not telling him he's leaving, but he can make the decision. If he wants to go to AAW, he can do it.
Yeah.
But after having proper chats with him and stuff, like, I realised, he's got a good heart and stuff. Just sometimes he acted inappropriately and made people uncomfortable. But now he's just totally different. He's he's a new Chris, new Rex Regan.
Yeah, and it's good to see, the fact that he's taken on board, stuff that other people have said and actively tried to change his attitude.
It's just growing pains, maturing as a teenager into a young man. Like, he just went through some growing pains. Like, Jack's done the same, Luke's done the same. We went through it when we were in XCW. We all were weird at some point, so it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't hold any ill will against him. I just, I hope that maybe I put a little bit of the fear of God in him. You don't want to piss off the bear, because the bear will, fucking rip your face off.
Or steal your picnic basket. Okay, after Resolution, we're having a couple months break because I'm burned out, Jack's burned out, Noel's burned out. We don't want any shows for a little while. Mm. But during this time, we have some issues, some problems going on with Jack and guys in the roster. What are your thoughts during this time where it looks like WZWA might be ending?
I'm super disappointed, I remember posting up on the group and I was like, it sucks because I feel like I'm heading into a place that it will finally define my career. Up until this point there has been some definition, but there has not been the
defining parts of your wrestling career. Yeah. Which I think you're heading towards with Ryan Tate, the feud there.
Absolutely. And so if that was not able to continue, I just felt like what I'd done for the past year had almost been a waste in essence.
Because you didn't get the payoff at the end.
Exactly, yeah. And so, like I said, I wanted the opportunity to be able to make it into the, Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame. I wanted the opportunity to maybe even get in as part of the stable induction at the GBYWN Hall of Fame. But, maybe none of this would be possible, if it just ended right now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was disappointing.
So, we actually had a show called Curtain Call, which was going to be the last show.
Yeah.
So, I'm fearing that this is the end of my career. I'm thinking of my options in wrestling and what I'm going to do. I don't know what to do, basically.
Yeah.
You'll probably think of this as the end of your career.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty scary moment for all of us. And whilst this is all going on, we get the resurgence of ICWS.
Yeah.
So we're finally talking about a bit of ICWS. You only got to have one match there so far.
Yeah.
But it was ICWS Thug Life, the return show.
Yep.
You wrestled in a 3-way with Ryan and Rex.
Yes.
Who were you originally supposed to face?
Dante Daniels.
That's right. And Dante couldn't make the show, which would have been huge.
Yeah.
So, at the last minute, you're thrown into the inaugural junior heavyweight title match.
Yep.
Thoughts on at the moment, your brief passing into ICWS.
So, I was, first off, when DJ told me that I was going to be facing Dante, I was like, oh man, this will be awesome, especially because I was supposed to be going over, so it'll be my first big impact on the ICWS. But then, as luck has it, I heard that Luke's not exactly the most reliable sort of guy to get along to shows these days. So
he was always like that back in ICWS.
Yeah, so I was
the one time we got in there, I was supposed to face Ryan, and I didn't have an opponent, and he didn't have an opponent, so we happened to wrestle each other. That was Dante Daniels' last match against me. So Dante never lost in ICWS.
Yeah.
And then he wrestled me and lost the match, and that was it. But he was supposed to continue his feud with Knuckles. All this stuff was happening with him and his ankles and all that, but he never returned after that, and they gave up on him. But I would have popped so much if Dante rocked up to wrestle you, because real name Luke, very nice guy, just very complicated life.
Yeah, it seemed like the case. Like, I messaged him about maybe planning some stuff for the match, and he was like, yeah, sure, we'll talk about it later, and then that...
Because I saw him at EPW.
Oh, okay.
And I asked him about, you're going to wrestle in ICWS against Blade. And he's like, yeah, I was going to wrestle that guy Blade. I don't know him, but apparently he's, like, been doing it for ages, and I was really excited to do it, but, like, that was the one day I could see my kid.
Yeah.
So he was like, I had to, like, go and see my kid.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate, but it is what it is. And, okay, so let's talk about that three-way.
Awesome. I loved it. Like, I thought we put on a super crisp match. It was the first time I got to wrestle Ryan and Chris. And I had a hell of a time doing it. Like, I think we had some awesome spots. There was some, like, cool psychology behind it. Like, Chris, like, was willing to bump, like, whatever. He was like, dude, T-bone suplex me, like, off the base onto the ground. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I did that. Yeah, like,
What's it like being in that environment of being on a base?
Completely different. And, this is also a
Does
thing.
Does it remind you of XCW, but, like,
a lot.
A little bit of a nicer way?
Yeah.
The landing doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it did remind me a lot more of XCW, and I think maybe that's why I got to put on such, like, a good first match, was because I was familiar with that sort of parameter of working. But it was also very different for me because in ICWS, like, although I've only been at the one show, I'm portraying a face, and so I haven't done that in a long time. So it was really different, like, coming out and hearing people actually cheer for me.
Well, they popped for you being the Lord Blade, sure, and you said, what was that last comment you made?
I was like saying I'm doing this for, like, justice, truth, and the American way.
Yeah, the American way. Like, yeah, like,
because I was wearing the Captain America shirt, so people are like, "Oh, this is awesome."
But I will say, when I saw you get pinned, I think I went quiet, but inside I was screaming. I was like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah.
I protected him for so long in WZWA. He gets his debut ICWS match and he has to get pinned.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything against DJ or whoever's idea was for you to get pinned, but I just thought, like, it's not nice for someone who's done it for so long and to make his debut and he ends up losing after debuting his new character. I thought it wasn't right. I thought maybe Ryan should have pinned Chris. I don't think you should have got pinned.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a good way to introduce the character, basically. And I got angry because I'm protective over my old buddies.
Yeah. I mean, like, to me, it's always that thing of, like, I've never really,
I know you don't care about losing. Like, you're like Bonner. You don't care if you win or lose. But for me, I didn't like seeing you get pinned in your first match in ICWS.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like, from a booking perspective, I can understand, like, how that makes sense and stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like, ICWS, I'm only a wrestler, so, I've helped a little bit with the booking, like in DJ.
And that's what I want to ask you about as well with ICWS, how that all came about.
Yeah, me and DJ had our first infamous hangout, like after trying to plan to get together for ages. And we finally did it, and so we sat around for a few hours and talked about, like, where ICWS was heading and kind of making the booking more solid because a lot of people have been giving him grief about how the booking had been so far. And so, I just gave him a hand and tried to help him out, like, with ideas that I had, or at least adding a bit more volume and, like, nuance to the booking that he'd done. And, I think, like, if it sticks to the way it is, then a lot of the booking should be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it has improved since I heard about that hangout. Things are going along very nicely, but you haven't been back to ICWS since, but I'm sure you'll be at Halloween Hell.
Yeah, I unfortunately, like, I have had a bit of a down period recently, so I did miss 2 of the shows.
Missed out on wrestling me, bro?
Yeah, I missed out on wrestling you, and I also missed out on the smaller show that we had, but unfortunately timing was just not good. The first show, I had uni work that I need to finish because it was my last semester, so I was a bit more concentrated on that, and then with yourself, I wasn't exactly feeling in the best frame of mind, so I decided to kind of just pass up on it. But yeah, I want to get back to WS.
Excellent. Well, Halloween Hell in late October, I believe, will be. Don't know what your plan, who you're facing yet, because I've asked DJ for what the card is, but I haven't heard anything yet. But
except for my joke card.
Yes, your joke card, but I think I'm wrestling Monet. With the first ever singles match we've ever had. So
excellent.
Looking forward to that one. Do you know who you're facing yet?
I can't remember. I was part of the booking for this. I can't even remember who I'm facing.
You're in the ICWS booking committee and you can't remember. As long as it's not Vincent Graves and you're losing again. Alright? I want Blade to go over this show. Alright? He's the law, Blade Shaw. He needs to get a win.
This is true.
Alright, so let's get to Hard Time 4. It was not a very nice show, I think, because we just come off the best event we ever had.
Yeah.
Everything was up in the air. We didn't know if this was going to be the second last show or not.
Yeah.
But you and I went out there and we did nothing really.
We stunk up the joint.
I think the only thing that was good in the match was the finish. We nailed that good, but not I don't know what was my mind frame was just off that day. I'm pretty good at improv matches.
Yeah.
Me and Mykonos matched the year 2013 improv.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Me and Brian Lowe at Christmas Carnage the previous year. Improv, one of the best matches I've ever had.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But me and you improv this time. I don't know what went wrong. Do you know what went wrong?
I don't know. The whole tone of the show just seemed wrong. We'd had that hiatus of not knowing what was going to happen, and then this was going to be the last kind of storyline based show, and then we'd have curtain call.
Yeah.
And I think people were just affected by the fact that it didn't really matter, or it didn't seem like it would matter, because we were done anyway. So
Yeah. At this stage, we're all believing that might be the end.
So. Yeah, exactly. So I think that affected everyone's morale.
I hated it so much, man. I hated that show.
Yeah. It's not exactly one of our finer points, especially off the back.
But since then, everything's been so fucking good.
Yeah.
And but I don't know what went wrong with our match. We were so excited because we hadn't wrestled in 6 years almost 7 years. When we wrestled at Evil Intentions 2009.
Yeah.
So no, that's 6 years, isn't it? Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really excited for the match, but I think maybe I should have planned some more stuff with you beforehand and really come up with some good spots. But it is what it is, and you finally got to have a clean win over me.
Yeah.
So last time you beat me was because Diffuser chokeslammed me. But this time I was like, I'm finally going to have you beat me clean in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
So when you get that pinfall, that decisive pinfall after the Sky High, do you think to yourself anything? Do you think, I've accomplished something here, I beat Aston clean?
I was thinking this is to me, this is the start of my singles run, essentially, in...
Because I look at the footage, I see you. I see after you get the win, you had your hands on my chest to pin me, and then you went, yes! I'm surely some part of that character representation is yes, I got to fucking pin Aston clean.
Yeah, it's like a cathartic moment.
Yeah, surely you must have thought okay, fuck yeah, he put me over. That's so good.
It's I think a big portion of it is I feel like that started for me what will be my defining singles run. I get a win over Aston Crew, former 11-time heavyweight champion, former professional wrestler. That's a big deal for somebody who is just a backyard wrestler. So. Really, really important to me. think of all the matches we've had over time, I finally get one over.
Get one over me, yeah. And I think it was all really to make up to you for beating you pretty much every time we wrestled, except for one time when I got chokeslammed by someone else who wasn't even in the match. So from there, luckily, Kurt Call becomes false finish.
Yes.
So I've got you booked against Dan Zeppelin.
Yeah.
To tie into the storyline with Zeppelin and Ryan and fallout of the Elite Alliance.
Yep.
From memory, Dan wasn't happy with the match. I think it could have been better.
Yeah.
What do you think went wrong?
There was a disconnect. Like, I think we had talked about how we wanted the match to end, and I had told Dan, like, look, I'm changing my finisher, I'm using the backpack stunner, this is what I want to do. And you can see it in the footage, because I hit the sky high, and
he stays down.
Yeah, he's not kicking out, and so I'm like, I let go, and then the ref's like, 3, and I'm like, no, that was 2. Like, why would I argue about that?
Mm.
And it was sloppy.
I expected so much more.
Yeah.
I expected that ultimate match.
Yeah.
Because this is ICWS versus XCW here. This is like, me, I'm popping watching you wrestle someone from ICWS.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, we just, we didn't really, like, click all that well, but I think next time, like, if I was to wrestle Dan again, I would definitely love to plan a little bit more in advance. I think that would probably help quite a lot.
Well, maybe we'll down the line we'll try and fit it in somewhere. It'd be good to see you guys have a bit of a better match.
Yeah.
So we get to Bowl of Mixed Nuts. So luckily, we get to have that show.
Yes.
Piss take on AAW there. You wrestled Daniel Johnston, DJ, for the first time. Finally, You guys have had your hangout, your buddies. He really likes you.
Yep.
You're one of his top mates now.
Yeah.
Very, very physical affair between you two.
Man, I love DJ. Like, he has probably been, like, the most open-armed person. Like, he has accepted me back in the backyard wrestling with open arms, and, like, I love sitting there every show. Like, you can hear us talking shit in the background of, like, every match.
Yeah.
Like, I find him to be a very entertaining person. He has a very smart mind for wrestling. And to finally get the chance to lock up with him one-on-one was awesome. Like,
good match.
Yeah, like,
loved your senton on him.
Yeah, it was super physical, and that's what we wanted to do.
Let's get physical.
Exactly, as Olivia Newton-John once said, let's get physical. And that's exactly...
I would have fucked Olivia Newton-John,
She was pretty hot back in the day.
I would have fucked her. Oh man, her in those tight leather pants in Greece. Oh, forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame John Travolta's, like, apparently gay, because, yeah, dude, like...
He has to be.
It's
like if you're in Scientology and you're an actor, you must be gay. Anyway, back to the match.
Yeah, back to me versus DJ. I loved it. Like, I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to wrestle him again in a tag match after that, because I like working with him. We suit each other's style very well. Very brutal, very physical. Yeah.
Alright, excellent. So, Frostbite 2015, 1990 Awesome, the new tag team in WZWA.
Yep.
Takes on the former tag team champions. The last time we get to see Ryan Tate and Blade Shaw team up, as a tag team. This is almost like an Elite Alliance sadness moment. This is the last time you're going to team. So.
Yeah. I specifically said to Ryan backstage before we walked out to our Duke Nukem Megadeth theme. I said to him, I'm like, man, thank you for, like, what we've done. This is, like, coming back and tagging with Ryan, helped me get into the WZWA. Like, it was the path that I travelled up until this point. So, like, you know,
and I think it eclipsed your tag team with those factors.
Oh, definitely. And working with a guy of Ryan's caliber, like, I consider myself very lucky and very privileged.
Excellent. So how do you feel the match went? You know, you've wrestled Jack a few times now, so...
I think it actually went pretty well.
Yeah,
like,
it was good.
I think it maybe went a bit too long.
I think that was the general consensus, like this match is going a bit too long. It should have ended maybe about 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were maybe a bit burnt out.
I think maybe it was because DJ had some spots to hit left in the match, so he wanted to get that done.
Yeah. But yeah, still, like, there was... I remember just, like, everybody in that match, like, between the four of us managed to get a pop for something that they were doing, which was awesome because we just, like, all hit these different spots. Like, I hit the senton on DJ, which everyone was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Was that 2 shows in a row that you guys ended up doing?
I didn't actually do it the first show.
I thought you did it the first time.
I was planning to do it in our match.
Sorry, my bad. I thought you did it. Oh, I thought you...
No.
Okay, but you ended up doing it.
I did it actually on the other one.
Okay, my bad.
And because we'd wrestled the show previous, I remember DJ saying to me after our match at Ball Mixed Nuts, he was like, man, you clocked me in the jaw. Because I was doing like the Roman Reigns like corner clothesline thing to him where you just like keep like...
the barrage of clotheslines,
yeah. And I clocked him in the jaw and then he was like, man, you fucked me up. And I like... In the tag match, I remember, like, we're wrestling, and I, like, pick him up by the scruff of his, like, tights, and I was like, I'm gonna give you the Dean Ambrose treatment, you motherfucker. And so I'd start just, like, punching and chopping the shit out of him.
Did you whisper that?
Yeah, that's what I said to him. And he was just, like, at the end, you could tell he was like,
I love those little moments where you say those little, you give those little cheap shots to them.
Yeah.
Get up, you little cunt.
And so he was just like, dude, that fucking hurts. I don't want you to chop me anymore. I'm just like, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck. You're known as, like, DJ
He's the chop guy, but he won't take the chops.
Yeah. So, like, I was just like, nah, I'm getting some back on DJ.
Yeah. Excellent. So, after the match, Ryan turns on you, and I haven't mentioned it yet, but this whole feud between you and him has been slowly building with the Lila thing, and him thinking you're trying to steal her from him, and oh man, it's just great WWE influence storylines here. It's like it's soap opera, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are very invested in the feud now, and so taking those chair shots, they were brutal chair shots, man.
They
I just hate that on the footage it doesn't do it justice. It's like I was standing right there and I saw him lay those chair shots in.
I said to him, you know, like, before the match, I was like, you know, obviously I know you're going to lay me out, so I want you to do it properly. Like, if we're going to do this, I don't want you to hold back.
Don't pussy out on the chair shots.
It'll look like shit. And I don't want to do that. So that's what he did, man. He belted the absolute fuck out of me. And it was awesome. Like, it was my idea to keep extending it, so, like, getting Lila to give me the Lilariat and stuff.
Yeah.
And him forcing her to do that. I think it just added that extra layer of, like, he's such a scumbag. He's forcing his, like, girlfriend to take out her friend.
Yeah.
Because he's so paranoid. And I reckon it looked awesome on footage.
Yeah. And, so, coming up at Hardcore Hell on the 12th.
Yeah.
Finally, you and Ryan Tate, one-on-one, last man standing. Lila is the special guest referee. So, and the winner gets Lila as the manager.
I'm super hyped up for this match to get the opportunity to face Ryan one-on-one, because I know we have the match at ICWS, Chris, but to get the opportunity to fight in WZWA in a ring, one-on-one, finally, I think, I said this to him personally on Facebook, I think we have the opportunity to steal the show.
Yeah.
If we plan the match and execute it well, could be a show stealer.
I think it could very well be the best match you've ever had.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance, and you haven't had the opportunity to have a hardcore match before, so a last man standing match. I don't even think you've had the last man standing match before.
It's completely out of my wheelhouse.
It's completely, without a doubt, like something that Blade Shaw has never gone through. So this is going to be big for your character because you've never gone through that before. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. and almost sad in a way, thinking that this will be probably the lone match in the feud.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be the last part of the feud.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love for there to be more matches, but maybe down the line there might be.
I think in a way it proves something very different. Whereas in other traditional feuds that you might see in wrestling, like on TV or whatever, there will be a series of matches and then there will be the conclusion. But this played out almost a little bit more like in real life. Like the accusations, the drama, the kind of back and forth, and the issues that we had with one another, and then it's finally culminated in a fight. And this is the fight to end it. Like this is it. Whoever loses this match, loses everything essentially. Like there's no friendship. There's no camaraderie left. It's just like pure hate between two people. And I think that works really well into Ryan's character especially.
And I really kind of look at this as like an XCW style feud.
Yeah.
Like with a real soap opera storyline.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and I can't wait. Next thing I want to talk about is Frostbite 2015. Stacey returns.
Yes.
So last time she was seen was at Christmas Chaos 5, as she was the third part of the team known as the Heartbreakers.
Yep.
So I wanted to do this Heartbreakers reunion match, and at the time I had a back injury from work, so I had to really take it easy.
Yep.
But so it's just us against the Mexicraps.
Yes.
But to see Stacey again for the first time in ages. Now she's, a newlywed.
Oh, man.
Your old manager from back in the day, she didn't get to do too much for the match. She just came out with us, but that was always the plan, just to ease her in.
Yeah.
But now she's going to be a part of it, from now on. So. So now we've got you, Nick, John.
Yeah, Stacey.
Now we got Stacey.
Yeah.
We got 4 people from
and
Hydro coming soon. We got that's going to be 5 from us from back in the day. Got to maybe try and get Chris Rowe pumped up to come back, but no.
For the toasted cheese sandwich.
Oh, we got to see that cheese sandwich one more time. But yeah,
Stacey back. Amazing. I love Stacey to bits.
Remember my post in the booking committee group when I was like, Stacey is in.
And I was automatically like, fuck yes, that is amazing. Like, I have so much respect for her, and she is like the nicest, person. Hey, it's catching up with her when she showed up to the WZWA event was like, we hadn't lost a step.
Man, I was just I was drinking so much beer, so I was just sitting next to her and just chewing her ear off with the history of WZWA and how it came about, and just talking about old memories, and I was so pumped up just
having her there. Yeah. And I remember I kept saying to her, I'm like, you have to get in the ring. It's awesome. This is a completely different experience.
She wants to wrestle. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I've got to really think of something for her great to do. Whether it's just an interference here and there, and then eventually it leads to a match somewhere down the line.
Yeah. It's super cool having her back. You have to say about Stacey, she has paved the way for women backyard wrestlers in WA. Legit.
I don't know of any girl in the world that has been a backyard wrestler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there's maybe one.
Yeah.
There's a girl on the GBYWN thread called Pamela, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I don't know if she's done anything, but no, she's
involved.
She's involved in some way.
Yeah.
And I have seen on one of the GBYWN, Backyard Wrestling Weekly things that they used to produce. There was a girl that took a big clothesline from some dude.
Yeah.
And it was a really stiff clothesline. And I was okay, so there is another girl somewhere.
Yeah.
And I know Chris Cryptic in his tag team called the Cryptic Connection. They had a valet. I think it was his girlfriend at the time, back from whenever it was, 2005 or whatever. But, there have been some girls here and there, but never any girls that got
None of them stuck like Stacey.
None of them that got out there and wrestled.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before she's gone, I want to wrestle her.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle Stacey. I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
fucking keen to wrestle Stacey because I know I'm going to have just as good of a match with her as junior referee did.
I mean, I'd love the opportunity to wrestle her.
One more time. we all want to wrestle her. We'll just do me, you, John, Nick versus Stacey, and she'll win.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, we'll
do a dart match, and there'll be a special dart match.
We'll just
put her over to nausea.
But yeah, like such a nice girl. I don't know her partner, but I've heard he's an incredible nice guy. Very cool dude.
So couldn't have wanted anyone nicer, really.
Yeah,
than him
and
be her.
And that's amazing because we used to be very close.
We're very protective over our Stacey.
Yeah, exactly. She was the girl amongst the blokes. So.
And none of us went near her, but Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike.
Quiet, you sleazy,
Mike.
disgusting Canadian pig. Talk about Canadian bacon.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but I love her. I can't say enough good things about her. So
I love her too. I love her too.
I'm curious to see what her future for WZWA holds.
I was drunk the other night on Facebook and I messaged her and I said, you know what? You're like my sister. From now on, I'm calling you sis. You're my sister.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like I'm closer to her, even though that I haven't seen her since Christmas Chaos 5. I feel like I'm closer to her than with my own sister.
Yeah.
Because, like, she was, like, a real big part of our teenage years in XEW. So, really cool to see her come back.
Yeah.
So, another one thing that I wanted to pop in here is Commissioner's Cup. Don't know when it's going to be. We're just going to play it by ear with the date, but there's an opportunity for you and Johnny V one more time.
Yeah, I am super excited about that. Like, to finally have that one-on-one rematch that we've never had since we fought at Christmas Chaos 3. Yeah, I would love the opportunity to be able to wrestle John one last time in a ring, in a serious setting. Like,
yeah.
I think
just in the spirit of competition, it's for this Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
This tournament that we're going to have for this. Have you seen the cup?
Yeah, you showed it to me last time.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, yeah, that's just a serious match. You and him go out there and just have the best match you can.
And I think, like, obviously I've changed my style quite a lot, and so has John. So I think it'd be interesting to see the difference between our styles, like looking at 2003 to 2015.
Yeah. 12 years.
Yeah, I know.
12 years. I mean, if we count the match at One Night Only, 7 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time coming, and your paths might cross again, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's just surreal. I feel like I've kept using some similar terms throughout this podcast, but just like such a surreal, bizarre experience.
Yeah. So another thing I want to bring up before we end the WZWA section is this elusive fucking match that I want to get going on with you and Nick Ariel.
Yeah.
Now, from what I've gathered, he's worried that it won't be a good match because he doesn't know if he can have a good match with someone who he can't
pick up,
pretend to be Brock Lesnar against.
Yeah.
But this is a match that I'm very passionate about seeing. I want to see it at least once. How do you feel about the opportunity or the possibility of wrestling Nick Ariel after all these years?
See,
it's like the last one to tick off.
Yeah, and it's funny as well because I think we could actually put on a very good match, and I don't think he would have to do like as much crazy shit as I think he doesn't want to do these days. Like, I know he wants to protect his shoulder because it's fucked, but I still think there is the opportunity for us to put on a really good, solid match without him having to kill himself.
Well, I mean, it's a case of, you know, I think he knows he could have a great match with Dark Ice, because Ice can fly around the ring just as much as he can.
Yeah.
But I think he's worried about wrestling someone who doesn't fly around the ring so much. But to be honest, it'll be a safer match than any that he's ever had, because you're on your feet, you know, you'll bump when it means something, and
yeah.
I think with the history that you guys have had, I think, you know, it could be a great David versus Goliath match, you know. He could be the high flyer, you can be the steady on your feet kind of big dude that, you know. I just think it'll be a good match, that's all.
Yeah, me too. So it's a shame that he's kind of
he is apprehensive, but it's going to happen. It has to happen, so it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. Alright, so I guess that comes to the end of the WZWA section.
Yes.
We're only 40 minutes into this part 4 with Blade Shaw. That rhymed. I wish I could do that all the time. First question is from me.
Yes.
What does Blade want to accomplish in his last few years in backyard wrestling?
I mean, when it comes down to it, I would love to achieve a solid singles run. I would love to capture like the heavyweight title, whether that's WZWA or ICWS.
Well, it just depends how long you're sticking around for, dude, because I've got a lot of plans. Well, we've got a lot of plans, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. But, you know, I would love for that for you too, but I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, like I've been around for so long. I would love for the opportunity to be able to at least even wrestle for one of those. You know, I've never even been in a heavyweight title match.
At least, yeah, I guess, yeah. Did you even get... Oh, we got one little XCW title match, but it's not really an XCW heavyweight title match because it was like, well, we know.
Yeah.
He just refuses to get another title defense under his belt.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess, you know, that would be nice for you to get a title shot.
Yeah.
One day.
I'd like to do that. Getting into the ABYW Hall of Fame. I mean, I know I'm already locked in.
You're in already.
But you know, until we get into you know, actually getting the inductions done and the next class getting involved.
I know. I'm very lazy at the moment. I still need to get the video packages done for Underminer, James Sinite, and there's one more guy, Lenny.
Oh yeah.
I've still got to make those video clips, and I've been too lazy to do them because
You're lazy.
I've got a lot going on.
But
once I've done those video clips, then I will definitely start getting those awards made and make sure. And you know what? You know how we did the induction
ceremony
for me with the roast?
Yeah.
I want to do another roast. I want to do another roast for you.
Sweet.
And, you know, this time I'll take the pressure off DJ. I'll host it.
Yeah.
And then DJ can just be speaker.
I wouldn't have him be a speaker.
He has to be a speaker. You know, maybe Chaos gets this opportunity to
shoot
get another one back here. Then you get the final one. So now you got one over him again.
Yeah.
But I'd love, you know, maybe even like John or someone to come up and, you know, do a speech.
Yeah.
Talk about you, but
yeah, I think that would be really awesome.
But you know what? Look, you're in. All right,
thanks, man.
You're in. You've gotten to the next class, dude. So
it's
there you go. You're an Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
but it will happen this year.
And it's a massive honor. You know, some people would be like, what does it really mean? But.
And it's funny, you're in the same class as Chris the Horseman, right?
Yeah, the last guy I have, my last XCW match with manages to get in the same class as me. It feels cool to be inducted with him. I hope that he comes to accept it in person because I'd love for him to be there so that we could accept it at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if we do a ceremony for you, maybe Chris can be also
part
of it. But if not, then we could always just have him come to a WZWA event, and I can induct him there and give him the award there. Cause I think it would be cool to see Chris like make a speech about it.
Especially because he was such a big part of XCW.
So you're in the same class as Scotty Richter, Ruthless Ron,
Chris Rowe, and somebody else.
Chris the Horseman Rowe. It might be a tie. There might be a tie.
I think I remember that.
There might be again another class that gets 6 people.
Yeah.
So you'd like to have a main event shot at the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
You'd like to, Hall of Fame.
I remember I said to you, and we talked about this ad nauseum, but to get the Elite Alliance to petition or to push to see them get into the GBYWN Hall of Fame.
And if that's my Hall of Fame induction, because I know Rad is you don't get inducted until you're retired, but they had a stable get inducted a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I always thought, we had so many titles, I think all of us should get the opportunity, because if there's going to be one Australian a year, then it's going to take a long time for any of us to get in.
Yeah.
I think it's been Rusty, Dark Ice, and CJ Phoenix so far who've got in. So it's taken a while, but I think maybe I should ask him, do you not think the Elite Alliance should possibly
get the opportunity?
Brandon X and Nick Fury.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, Chris was equal with Nick Fury.
So it's actually fallen out.
No, but when I made the decision, he was tied with him. So this has gone on an extra few months, and people are still adding votes. But when I made the decision at the end of because the end of the thing was fucking July.
Yeah,
July 31st.
At that point, me and Scotty Richter were actually at equal amount of votes.
Yeah, you got 14, he's got 16, but you were equal before Chris Rowe. It still counts. The voting is not continuing after July 31st. So
yeah,
I'm sorry, but Chris Rowe was in. He's already in. So.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, no, it's pretty much on top of that. What else do I have left to achieve? Maybe a GBYWN title run, but then I've already had the tag title, so. I want to prove myself as a singles competitor, and I want to leave a legacy
of great singles matches.
Yeah, and of a career that has been paralleled by very few. Because look, how many people have been great tag wrestlers and great singles wrestlers in backyard wrestling, and how many people are in the ABYW Hall of Fame at the moment, and maybe have an opportunity to go into the GBYWN Hall of Fame? Very few.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll get on to Rad about it. I hope we qualify.
Yeah, man.
We won enough belts. Come on. It was a stable that was around for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Not many backyard wrestling federations
last that long.
Well, yeah, even just lasting XPW had one show and that was it. UBW had one show and that was it. Not many feds even last longer than a year, so if a stable can last 2.5 years...
Get us in there, mate.
Give me a break, Alright, Kai Fusion.
Yes.
You've already answered this, but how did you feel dropping the tag titles of Circus Royale?
$1 million.
$1 million. Kyle, again, how did you feel winning the tag titles?
Like I said, I think it solidifies my legacy as one of the best tag wrestlers in WA history.
Cool. Excellent. He also asked, what do you hope to gain for the remainder of your yarding career? Which I guess is the same as the last question that I gave you. From your time in XCW to now in WZWA, has your passion for wrestling been the same?
No,
What era were you more passionate about wrestling?
Early XCW, for sure. I loved wrestling back then. It was my, number one hobby, number one priority. these days, I'm actually a lot more into it, like way more than I was at the end of XCW. But I would still say I'm a fairly casual fan. I don't watch anything outside of the WWE.
Yeah.
Unlike the other guys, I don't go looking at like NJPW or
Chikara,
PGW or
PWG.
PWG. Sorry, yeah. I watched an episode of Lucha Underground with DJ. That was pretty cool. But yeah, like I'm a very casual fan, so I'd say it has changed a lot. But WZWA definitely helped me get reinvigorated and interested in wrestling.
Well, it's kind of like me with golf. I hate watching golf. I don't watch golf, but if I'm going to go play golf, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's like if you can go do it, I'm going to go do it, but I'm not going to sit there and watch golf.
Well, it's like I like playing.
Fuck Ernie Els.
I like playing backyard cricket or like beach cricket, but I hate watching.
But I hate watching cricket because cricket sucks. Sorry, Bonner. Cricket sucks. It's boring. One more from Kai Fusion. Do you have a different opinion / understanding on wrestling from your time in XCW to now in WZWA?
Definitely. In XCW, I was just a wrestler, and that was it. And I didn't really think about the sort of wrestler I wanted to be. But now that's completely different, and I also have a way better understanding when it comes to like booking and psychology and understanding a lot more of the sort of nuts and bolts that go into a wrestling match.
Excellent. Killer Chaos. Who's your favourite person to have a match with, and what, in your opinion, is your greatest match?
Cool.
So your favourite person to wrestle and your greatest match you've ever had. I already know the answer to the second question, but...
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'll get you to say what you think yours...
Well, I think the greatest match as far as drama and getting a crowd reaction is you and Johnny V at Resolution.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Might be different for you. You might prefer something that you didn't WZWA.
Okay, so no, like Christmas Chaos 3, you said Resolution, which is like...
Sorry, my bad. Christmas Chaos 3.
Chaos 3, yeah, the match between me and John is definitely my favourite match, just because it had the psychology behind it, and it had such a prestige attached to it that I don't think anybody saw.
A huge amount of heat.
Yeah, it was a big thing for me.
Big thing for me.
Yeah.
Because, putting on record now, don't know if I mentioned it in the first part because I can't remember, but I said to John, is it, I asked him if it was okay. Your match at Christmas Chaos, is it okay if you wrestle Blade? Because, you were a bit of a mid-card guy at the time, and I said, I feel, I know you probably maybe want something more from Resolution. No, sorry, Christmas Chaos.
Yeah.
But, this is Blade's opportunity, and I want you to go out there and have a great match with him. And at first, John thought for some reason I was telling him that you were going to beat him.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I'm just saying, like, wrestle him, like, have a feud storyline going into there with him, with Stacey involved, and then you wrestle Blade at Christmas Chaos fucking 3.
Yeah.
Fucking Resolution on my mind. And, he was cool with it, but I think, at the time he was probably like, I would have rather like a top tier match with a top tier XCW guy, but, this is XCW, there's not that many more matches you can have with me or Diffuser or Bonnie-John who've seen it before. We want to see something different.
Yeah.
But, that was a big match for me, as far as I'm concerned, as watching you and him. You evolve as a performer, and John give you the platform to evolve.
Yeah, definitely. So John would probably be my favourite performer to have wrestled against. I know we've only wrestled briefly, like a couple of times against one another besides that match, but
John's your favourite person to wrestle as well.
He brought me to the dance, for sure. And, like I said previously, I can't thank him enough for that.
Excellent. Hydro. How did the conversation between Carl and you go to get you wrestle with WZWA? Well,
we talked
we
about
did
that
talk about it. How much input did you have on your character?
a lot.
All of it, pretty
Yeah,
much.
you never told me anything. It was mostly me saying.
I just said you're the insurance policy. You Blade Shaw. That's it.
Yeah, and I've had creative liberty over everything I wanted to do, and that's been awesome. I love it.
Okay. Was there anyone you didn't like at first?
At WZWA?
He did state.
Oh,
where.
okay. No, not really. Everyone was pretty friendly.
You were cordial with everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. Chris seemed like a bit chatty and perhaps a little bit too familiar, but that's okay. Like,
Chris is like that with everyone.
Yeah.
Over familiar too quickly.
He enjoys my bear hugs, and I'll always give him a hug, even if I want to knock his fucking face in.
Knock his fucking block off. Did you like Vaughn when you first met him?
No, no, that was probably one of the people that I didn't like very much. And that speaks to the relationship that we had. It was just like there was never any goodwill between the two of us.
Well, there was always that, he thought he was better than you or whatever.
Yeah, and that's fine. But besides that, I've never really had any beef with him.
I had a problem with Hydro when I first met him. I thought he was a fucking asshole. Prick. I just thought he had no business being in the business.
He
Hydro,
smelled like dog shit.
Yeah, you know what? I think he stepped in Gaga's poo. Gaga from XCW Arena days.
Yeah.
He stepped in and I was always like, he smells like poo. I think he stepped in the dog's poo and he doesn't even know. He's a loudmouth. He helps Nick start chants like I like cheese and bullshit. Hydro is without a doubt the most self-serving son of a bitch that I've ever met.
Yeah.
Not really. It's a lie. I love Hydro. Okay, how excited were you when Hydro finally dropped himself down the card and wrestled you?
Reasonably honoured.
It was great to have that 3.5 minutes of you beating the shit out of Hydro.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to put someone over, you got to do it right. So
why not just beat the shit out of him the whole time?
Exactly.
How down were you when the millions of Hydrolites lashed out at you when you defeated him by cheating? Well, no, he didn't defeat you. It was a double counter, you fucking retard.
Question is null and void.
Mykonos, how does it feel to be a part of the booking team?
Good. I love seeing the payoff and the reward for plans that we put in place actually come to fruition and work.
Sitting back and watching what we booked take place.
Yeah, it's a really good feeling. I mean, I remember I was the ref for the match where Deacon ran out and cashed in his briefcase on Kyle. And we were the ones that had come up with that, and it got so much heat, and to have been a part of influencing that happening, it's cool. I love it.
And that cash-in was supposed to happen 2 or 3 times previous.
Yeah.
But it never got to happen until when it did.
Yeah.
Okay, a few questions from Daniel Johnston.
DJ.
Does your friendship with people behind the scenes, example me or Carl, help when wrestling them chemistry-wise?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're always going to probably feel more comfortable with the people that you know as opposed to, some stranger. I mean, in the case of DJ, I was lucky that, over the time that we'd known each other, we'd built up a rapport before we'd wrestled. But, I think it's always easier to talk to somebody that you're on good terms with about, what you want to do in a match and feeling more comfortable wrestling them.
Cool. DJ again, was it intimidating coming in, having never wrestled in a ring before, and essentially having to begin a new body of work?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said in the WZWA portion earlier, wrestling in a ring for the first time was completely different. And I do think it took me a little while to get acclimated to wrestling in a ring for sure.
Acclimated?
Yeah.
Never heard that word before. Acclimated. If someone said acclimated to me, I wouldn't even understand what that fucking means, but because the way that you said it, it made sense. Oh yeah, no, yeah, he totally acclimated to whatever the fuck he's talking about.
I love
he acclimated to, 100% acclimated.
I love when I use these words. It was like when Ice was doing his podcast, and like you were asking questions from me, and he was like, "Man, trust Blade to use like these fucking terms that nobody knows."
Yeah, acclimated.
Yeah.
Acclimated. What the fuck is acclimated? I've never heard I've been alive 28 years, never heard anyone say the word acclimated.
It's okay, we'll go and look it up on dictionary.
It's like when I'm reading Russell Brand's book and I don't understand this word, so I can look it up in the dictionary. It's like just showing off, oh, look at all the words I know.
Yeah, I got one of those big,
wow.
One of those big things. Do you know the word for it? Like
penis?
Yeah, vocabulary.
Oh, vocabulary. Okay, sorry. My head's in the gutter. DJ, last question from DJ. How do you like ICWS compared to WZWA?
Yeah, it's different because I get to do something completely different. And to me, that's super important, especially in this part of my backyard wrestling career, because I want to explore as many avenues and do as many different things as possible in the limited amount of time I have.
Yeah. Where do you, I'm just going to chime this in there. Where do you see Blade Shaw's career going in ICWS? What do you think is going to be achieved within the short amount of time you might have left? And I'm going to pay way to it. That's this.
Okay. Well, I can't see myself probably winning a heavyweight title. As much as I'd like to, I don't think I probably will. But I think.
I'd like to see that, though.
I mean, like, if it happened, then awesome. I would totally be down for it. But I think what I would like to happen is I would like to work with the younger guys, the Deacons, the Steels, like the guys who are hungry and passionate and who need somebody to elevate them to a bigger status. Because, I mean, if we're talking about me being like a legend of WA yarding and, like the status I have for XCW, WZWA, the ABYW Hall of Fame, then I would love to do that.
You know what I love to see?
What?
That no one else would. You versus Wicked Nick James. Just because it's a match that should have never happened.
Yeah.
It should never happen because you're from two different eras. You're both guys that left for a while, then you came back. But I would like to see how you guys work a match considering you've never met.
Yeah.
Big Red Ryan Tate. What do you personally plan to achieve in the last man standing match against Ryan Tate at Hardcore Hell? Further character development, good storytelling, etc.
I mean, obviously, I want to make a big impact story-wise because, like you said, this has been a culmination of so many events over the last, few shows.
But also the culmination since you guys were a tag team. So
exactly. It tells a story of two friends who have now become, bitter enemies.
It's the same old tale that's been told over the years.
Yeah, and, there's the added element of Lily, and I think she'll bring a lot to the table in the match as well, which I'm really excited about.
And it's good to see her being in a position of that caliber. Like,
yeah.
Something involving her seriously in the storyline as opposed to just being in the background.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really happy that I've had the chance to be in a story that's dragged her more to the forefront than, to her just being the EA security or Ryan's manager.
Now she's showing vulnerability, she's showing emotion. Oh my god, I can't believe I've got to go on a date with Esqueleto, or oh my god, I've got to hit my friend Blade.
Yeah, and it's really cool. So I think that would be probably the most important thing, but I also want to bring to the forefront that I have the tools to be a talent in WZWA. Like, I know when I wrestled Chris in ICWS, he turned around to me and said, "Look, man, I don't want you to be offended, but I never thought much of you as a wrestler up until today, but you proved me wrong. You know what you're doing, you're a safe guy, and you're very good at what you do." And to me, that meant a lot. And I still
I
think
forgot to cover that.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like I'm happy to bring that up because I think there are still some guys in WZWA maybe that don't see me as a upper card or mid card echelon talent. That I would love the opportunity to prove wrong. Not to be a dick and as we say like fuck you, I am actually good, but just
No,
to be
of
like
course.
to humble them and to have that experience personally would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Big Red, what do you like better and why? Tag team wrestling or singles wrestling?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think obviously I've had more success in tag team wrestling.
But that's just been by chance, really.
Yeah, that's how bookings worked out.
Because, I was going to say earlier, actually, if XCW kept going, Nick Carey will be the one to beat Diffuser for the heavyweight title, then you'd be the one to beat him for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
That's how I would have gone.
Yeah.
So, you would have found
some single success.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think, if you were looking at it booking wise and tag team wrestling, but, if you look at somebody's body of work over the time that they wrestle, you're always going to look at their singles, wrestling. So I would want that to define me more than the tag team wrestling.
Okay. Luke Monet, in terms of overall structure, what did you enjoy most about your match against Nick Ariel at Frostbite 2014?
I think the part where I poked him in the throat was probably the best.
I can't breathe. My shirt is too tight.
Yeah, I know.
Dickhead.
And then, he just joins the Elite Alliance. It was great.
Amazing. Alright, so from what I've gathered, Ice is either asking a stupid question or asking about himself because that's how he does his questions. Is Blade sure?
Yeah, very sure.
Is your sexy name Blade Shorty?
No.
Good. Are you sharp as your name sounds?
Definitely.
Do they make condoms for blades?
Yeah, they're called magnums or extra large.
Who do you think is the best overall person to watch in WZWA? Tough one.
Yeah. It's like I said, I mean, I've watched so many of the guys wrestle. I think anybody that has held the heavyweight title is somebody that you want to watch. Alex Stone, Ice, Angelicus Lowe,
Thank you.
Mick and us, all worth watching.
Tell me more about me?
No.
Okay. Well, that's nice. How do you see a match with Dark Ice going? Good, bad, messy, perfect?
Good. Good to perfect. Like, I think he has such a different style to me, despite the fact that we're two big guys. I think we could put on an awesome match because we could have that power aspect, but he could still pull out, like, the Dark Ice stuff that you don't expect. And, yeah, I think we could bounce off each other really well.
Excellent. And it's funny, you had still, after all this time, have not had any interaction with a Kilowatt Chaos, a 3-Dog, or a Dark Ice. And remember, Resolution 3, initially it was supposed to be you versus Chaos.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so there was the plans that we would have our brief, altercation in the Battlefield Brawl, and he would eventually throw me out.
Yeah.
And then that would lead up to us having a singles match at Resolution.
Those three's like the Battle of the Monsters.
Yeah, which I think
monster mash
would have been awesome. I keep saying to Ice and Chaos, I'm like, eventually one day we'll have our Clash of the Titans match, as I call it, and it'll be me, Chaos, Ice, and 3-Dog. It'll be just 4 fucking gigantic dudes, rumbling like monster trucks.
Oh, we did have plans earlier in the year to have a big number 1 contenders match, which didn't go the way that we were hoping because for whatever reason we couldn't get it happening. But there was going to be a big you 3-Dog Chaos Ice in a 4-way to get a number 1 contender for Mykonos' title. But,
Yeah.
Pardon me, that didn't happen, but that was always in the plans. Dark Ice. Can you be my lawyer when I sue Diffuser for not accepting my resolution challenge? It's just not going to happen, dude. Like, he's so far
retired.
He's so far beyond thinking of having another match.
I mean, firstly, I don't have a law degree, so I'm not sure exactly how much.
I reckon the only way I could get Diffuser out of retirement is if I say to him, dude, I'm having my last ever match.
Yeah.
I reckon the only way that Bonner would be like, you know what, that's worth coming out of retirement for, would be to have one more match with me.
Yeah.
I don't see him wrestling anyone else. But in saying that, I wouldn't want to ruin that great final XCW match.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sure we could have a hell of a match, but...
Well, it'll be up to the...
I mean, that was such a good exit for him from Backyard Wrestling. And then the resolution thing, you know, fuck.
Yeah.
Everything is too perfect. Everything that he's done in the last 2 appearances he's had in Backyard Wrestling has been too perfect.
Yeah.
How you doing? Do you need a piss?
No, I'm good. I do need another beer, though. I honestly couldn't say.
We've nearly split a carton here.
Yeah, I know.
We've only got 3 more beers to go after this, and we've split a carton.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't be a lawyer, man. I'm sorry. I don't have the proper theoretical knowledge.
Fair enough. Luke Monet, pick an opponent to face in a main event match of Resolution and why? Deacon Whalen, Rex Regan, Phaser.
That's an interesting question.
Who'd you have a better match with out of the 3?
Okay, I'm going to try and logically run through all 3 of these guys really quickly so I can make a decision. Deacon is at a really interesting point right now. Obviously, a lot of people think he is character.
Oh, and on the podcast, apparently we're on a Deacon Whalen dick-sucking tour at the moment.
Exactly.
Oh, Alex Stone thinks that Deacon's the next Alex Stone. Oh, Luke Monet thinks Deacon Whalen's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Deacon. It's just like, just fuck him already, alright? He looks like Ellen DeGeneres.
To be honest, I want to put my penis inside of him. But to be even more frank, yeah, I mean, a lot of people seem to be thinking that he's like the up-and-coming, you know...
He's just doing well at the moment.
Yeah.
Just wait for him to fuck up, alright? He's going to fuck up. He has to fuck up at some point. He's doing too well right now. Actually, his promo for the last
he fucked up.
Fuck up. Poor guy. But he's doing good.
Yeah, he is. He's really taken to this new character, and I'm super interested to see where it's going.
I think everyone's in love with the facial expressions and the fucking cocky. That Deacon Whalen cocky look.
It's like I said to you, I wanted him to be like a Seth Rollins, chicken shit sort of heel, and I think he suits that.
And he's done well, but his theme song's very similar to Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's like, alright, we know you had the briefcase. No, but he's doing very well. But who would you pick to have a main event match at Resolution? Who's going to make you look the best? Who was over enough to make that match meaningful?
Chris... hell of a wrestler. Love wrestling him in ICWS. He knows what he's doing in the ring. Phaser, I mean, we've never wrestled, so that could be really interesting. And I mean, the guy is an all-American athlete out of Michigan State. So
out of Michigan State. Same class as the Stone brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Scott and Rick.
Yeah. Bet he got a lot of pussy in his... in his college days. Yeah.
He was an all-American track.
He fucked the hottest cheerleader in the all-American track and field star.
Like,
he's just like, why does he get the thing?
Because he's such a pure athlete. Like, he's such a pure athlete.
Yeah, but why does FaZe get this thing about him where it's like, oh, we're having a beer pong tournament. I bet FaZe is going to do well because he seems like a college frat boy.
Yeah, like,
and what happened? Him and Luke won the fucking the beer pong tournament. The Smoking Guns became the WZWA beer pong tag team champions. Unbelievable.
I can't choose. Just because everybody seems to be sucking his dick, I have to go with Deegan.
Yay! The dick sucking tour continues.
Yeah.
All right. Mykonos. Who would you like to see face one-on-one who hasn't wrestled each other before?
Dark Eyes vs. Diffuser.
Okay, that's a good answer, but now give us a realistic answer of what we could actually see. We're still here, ladies and gentlemen. He's just thinking.
Deep, very deep in thought.
Pretty hard question.
Yeah. I don't know. Me versus...
No, not you.
Why not?
No, think of someone else. Come on.
Have Ice and Antilicus wrestled?
Yeah. 2012. Maybe just say a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't get
I'm
to
trying
see
to
the
think
original.
right now who hasn't wrestled. I'd like to see Brian Lowe versus Mykonos. They never wrestled one-on-one.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be good.
Otherwise, Ice and Antilicus, that would be a cool rematch.
That would be cool. Maybe, Ryan Tate versus Aston Cruz. Never happened before.
Yes.
That would be fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, can you imagine? Can you imagine the hell that would be raised there when
Actually,
I beat Ryan Tate in 5 minutes after all these years of people wanting to see us one-on-one, and I beat him in 5 minutes. That would be just buried him after all this time being one of my proteges. He's in the booking committee. Then I just win so easily.
You bury him worse than Triple H buried Sting at WrestleMania.
Exactly. Oh, man. Actually, I don't know if that's possible. Okay. Mykonos. Who would you like to see Mykonos face that he hasn't already? This goes back to Blade not knowing anything about RCWS,
exactly.
so he doesn't know who he has or hasn't wrestled yet.
Who
haven't you wrestled yet, Mykonos?
Yeah.
I can't even think. Brian Lowe, besides that.
Yeah.
He's wrestled Phaser.
Yeah.
He's wrestled me. He's wrestled Ryan about fucking a million times.
Yeah.
He's wrestled Jack, he's wrestled Luke, he's wrestled Rex Regan, he's wrestled DJ.
He's wrestled Antilicus.
He's wrestled Antilicus. He's wrestled Dark Ice, he's wrestled Three Dog. Is there actually anyone you haven't... Alright. Diffuser, I guess.
Yeah. Fuck off, man.
Like, he's not giving us parameters. I guess maybe Diffuser is the answer.
Yeah.
Yes, Mykonos, we want to see you wrestle Diffuser, and actually Mykonos is in one of Diffuser's top 5 in his podcast of people he never got to wrestle.
That would be cool.
Ryan Tate, 2-part question. If you could have one XCW star make his return and debut in WZWA, who would it be, and who would you have them face and why?
Diffuser and Dark Eyes.
Diffuser and Dark Ice, fantastic. Excellent. Same as number 1, but how would you book it to happen? Would it be a sudden surprise / completely out of the blue, or would you build up to the surprise after a couple of shows?
It'd have to have a build-up. I would not want, like, just this instantaneous surprise of, like, Diffuser showing up. It would need, like, legit building between the two of them before it actually came down to him showing up.
Dark Ice starts wrestling his matches in the mask,
Yeah.
and he's choke slamming everyone left, right, and center, and he's like, "Come on, Diffuser. If you keep fucking denying me, I'm going to start attacking women."
Starts using the Emerald Fusion.
So then he goes to put the hand around the throat of Stacy Oh, is he going to chokeslam Stacy? Yeah, he is, because she fucked Diffuser over years ago, so he chokeslam Stacy. What's it going to take to get Diffuser to come out of retirement to face him? Oh, and then finally at Resolution 10. Finally, after all these years, Diffuser rocks up.
I mean, you could even have it play
Diffuser's kid rocks up. In a Diffuser mask.
You could have, like, Ice lurking out the front of, like, Bonner's house, like, pre-recorded and, like, talk about kidnapping his kid. Like, that's what it takes to get Diffuser out of retirement.
Yeah. And you know what?
Terrorizing his family.
You know what? We all know it'll be a great match.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, so everyone, just keep your stiffies in your pants. But yeah, Ryan, that's how Blade would go about it.
Absolutely.
Now we get into Jack Wallace. Serious question, he says. If you had to choose between Blink-182's albums Enema of the State or Take Off Your Pants and Jacket to listen to for the rest of your life, what would you choose and why?
Oh, man. Enema of the State was a great album, but so was Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
All the small things.
That was Enema of the State.
Would you want to keep hearing that song?
Nah, I think I'd probably go with Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, to be honest.
Righto. You know what? How far are we into this podcast? Alright, an hour and 20 minutes.
It's respectable.
Okay, so Andrew Riley from TC Derbia in Victoria has chimed in with a question. Is there a dream matchup you want to be a part of outside of Western Australia?
I'd love to face any of the Eastern States guys. Rusty, Chris Cryptic, like any of those guys. Any of the ones that were like big names for Eastern States yarding. Tommy Taboo, I mean, I know he was over here recently, but he was, only wrestled very briefly. So, like any of those guys, I'd love the chance.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm just going to refresh the page because I'm sure, Blade sure, that there might be more questions. Well, alright, I'm going to ask you a few of my own.
Okay.
What do you prefer, heel or babyface?
Up until this point, heel. I don't actually think I ever had a very good babyface run.
NXT dub.
No, I was, the rookie sensation, simply sensational.
Yeah, I'm a superstar in the making.
While you're laughing in the shower about how I had the same theme song for 6 years.
It's like, I think he's a superstar by now.
Yeah.
Let's cut him some slack.
But, I prefer heel because I think my best body of work up until this point has been heel. But I would love to change that. Would love the opportunity to change that.
Okay, well, that'll be interesting. Just going through this. Deacon's got a question somewhere. Deacon, what hobbies do you have outside of wrestling?
So I'm a massive nerd. I think most people know this from just like talking to me.
Looking at you.
Looking at me. I'm super into TV shows and films, anime, video games,
anime. That's one thing I could never get into.
Yeah, see,
I just don't get it.
Some people don't really get into it, but I love it. I have an anime tattoo.
Where?
What?
I've never seen a tattoo on you. Where is it?
I've got two.
Where?
Tattoos.
Yeah, where?
I've got two tattoos.
Where?
I'll show you.
Hang on a sec. I'm just going. It's not one.
No, it's not my dick. So I've got one. This one here, which I got on my.
Well, how did I never see that? How long have you had that?
I've had it since my 21st.
You must always be wearing a shirt when you wear it.
Yeah, I do. So that's the anime tattoo. That's from an anime called Gurren Lagann, which is pretty awesome. And then I've got this one, which is
You got like a rock
tattoo.
thing going on there.
Yeah, and I love this tattoo.
You got a half sleeve, and I didn't know you had a half sleeve until now. I've known you this long.
Yeah, and I had this.
I've known you for 13 years, and I never knew that you had a tattoo half sleeve.
Yeah, I've had that for like 4 years.
What the fuck?
And yeah, it's a tribal tattoo because my dad's from Rotorua, so he's an actual full-blooded Maori, so it's a big part of like my family.
Gotcha.
Family heritage.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much me. Like
You're big on Warcraft.
Yeah, big on WoW, big on like this basically any nerdy pop culture shit you can think of. Star Wars.
What do you think of the South Park episode about WoW?
I loved it. It was fucking hilarious. Like, as somebody who played the game, I just was like pissing my pants.
So anyone who was huge on World of Warcraft would have loved that episode.
Yeah. I like. Obviously, it's like exactly like playing the game, but they managed to take the piss out of it in a way that was like very reflective of how you could perceive it. So I loved it.
Okay. Still Kemsley asks, which wrestler would you love to wrestle most out of WWE, WWE, WCW, ECW, or NXT? If you could face one person from those things, who would it be? What would the match be? For example, Kane and Hell in a Cell, or Sandman and Tables match, etc.
I would love to wrestle Kurt Angle in an Iron Man.
I knew you were going to say fucking Kurt Angle. Iron Man, mate. You're not going to last 60 minutes.
Dude, I'd be so gassed. Like,
you couldn't even handle Clash of Triads plus Hydro. Unbelievable.
It'd be sick, though. Like, me in prime physical condition versus Kurt Angle, like, Iron Man match. It'd be fucking sick.
Alright, well, that comes to the end of the Q&A, Wade.
Yep.
So I'm going to go through word association. I'm going to ask you about people that you probably haven't had the chance to really talk about throughout the podcast.
Yeah.
So word association, so either give, just a quick answer or tell a story or what you think of this person.
Okay.
Clint Marshall.
I had a negative first impression of Zibby. I viewed him as somebody who has probably more self-confidence than he should. But I think his podcast helped me learn a lot about him and put it into perspective. And I actually have a lot of respect for the guy now. So I'd like to apologize to him because, you shouldn't always judge a book by its cover. And yeah, I think
he's just a pretty regular dude.
Yeah.
And he's just got the same thoughts that we have. He's not arrogant. He knows who he is. He's just confident in who he is.
Yeah, and that's...
and you can't...
No, you can't... Yeah, exactly. He, all the more power to him. If he's confident in himself and what he's doing, then best of luck to him.
Excellent. Would have been good to see a Clint Marshall Blade Shaw match at some point, I think.
Dude, I would love the opportunity to face him. If he's keen, like...
Well, I know he's leaving in December, so maybe if we get back our TV going, we'll try and get it going. Alright, so from there, Brian Lowe.
I never even got the opportunity to really know the guy. Like, I came in and within probably a few events, he was gone. And it's a shame, like, he seemed like really kind of open and receptive, like when I came back. And, all of a sudden I was like, oh, he actually, like, defriended me from Facebook.
Did he?
Yeah. And then, I don't know. And then, like, all of a sudden I was just like, oh, okay, like, fair enough. But, like, I'm actually quite keen to hear that he's coming back soon.
Just for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, like,
he's having one match, but it'd be cool to see him back in the WZWA finally. Maybe he'll get to end things a little bit more close to the way he wanted them to.
I think it'll be good for him to come back and have that one match and realise what he might be missing out on.
Yeah.
I think Lowe could have still another good story left in him in WZWA. I think it will be really good for him and his legacy. I don't want him to go out just losing to Phase at Resolution and that's it. I want him to come back and do a few things here and there, so I'd be keen to see it.
For sure.
Alex Stone.
Nice dude, hell of a performer, super entertaining. I regret the fact that I didn't get to know him better in the short time that...
Well, I hate that we never got to see that match between you two because you hit him with the chair.
Yeah, it felt like at some point we should have probably... I
was trying to get it booked on Backyard TV, but it never got to
happen. And yeah, that's unfortunate, but I know he wants to pop in every now and again, so if the timing's right and we can get
I think he's really hyped on recent WWE. I think he's really keen to wrestle more, so I think we got the opportunity to get him back. So be good to get you and him to wrestle at some point.
Yeah.
Kilowatt Chaos.
Entertaining as hell, just a psychotic dude. He has that look in his eye that he could snap instantaneously and you would not know where the fuck it's coming from. But it's funny because we share a lot of the same interests. We're both very heavily into comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
So we get along pretty well. We chat regularly at the shows and stuff. So yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and I reckon Kilowatt Chaos Blade Show Hangout is in order.
Yeah, for
sure. Can you imagine you two, just not me, no DJ, no me, just you and Chaos just hang out, watch whatever, talk comics.
Yeah, I imagine it would just be a chat about Marvel and DC and me and him just downing a fucking entire family feast of KFC.
Oh, epic man, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Rex Regan.
Super talented. He is a real talent in the ring. And I like the fact that he's had issues with people and he's willing to own up to that and embrace it and actually move forward. And he's done that. Not just talking about it, but he's actually made strides to work on the parts of himself that people have had issues with. And I think that shows, he's getting the push that he deserves right now. And it's completely warranted.
Acid Rain.
Oh, man. It's a shame that he stopped when he did. I think he could have done some pretty cool shit in
We can't get in touch
XCW.
with him. He's the only one out of XCW history that I would not be able to possibly get in touch with.
Yeah.
I know Rift is on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've messaged him a few times, linking him to matches that he's had that I've uploaded, but he hasn't responded. But at least I can get in touch with him.
Yeah.
I've seen Lee McNally's brother, Jared Cyclone, on Facebook. I can get in touch with him whenever I want. Sam Coolican, Psycho Sam, or anyone from XCW's history I can get in touch with whenever I want. But
not Scotty.
Scotty Pierce, I do not know where he is. I asked James O'Mac where he is. I asked Shane Haste where he is. He's not got Facebook. I can't find him. I don't know what happened to him. I'm worried. I hope he's not dead.
Yeah.
He's probably still around. He probably knocked up some slut and now he's a father and he's totally off Facebook and all that stuff. But, man.
Talented dude.
He was so good.
Yeah. He reminded me of the vein of a lot of those bigger but quicker workers. He was the backyard wrestling version of Kevin Owens or
imagine Acid Rain versus Dark Ice.
Yeah.
That would be a great match.
Yeah.
And that's one guy that I really need to teach everyone about. Let them know. This guy existed, he was fucking good.
Yeah.
And I got to wrestle him and you got to wrestle him. So
yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, Homicide.
Yeah, like I said, he means a lot in my career in terms of getting me to where I was comfortable to then start wrestling by myself. I regret the fact that we've had a bit of a falling out, and this time I'm not sure if we're going to work things out, but I hope that even if we do or don't, I wish him all the best.
You gotta, if it's something that can be fixed, then you gotta fix it.
Yeah.
There are, like me and Vaughn, it can't be fixed.
Mm.
It's done. If I could fix it, I would. I tried to. It couldn't happen because of him. It's all him. It's all on him. He wants to live in hate with hate in his heart, and that's fine. You know, as far as I'm concerned, everyone in our group never really has anything nice to say about him anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to define what we were as friends back in the day. So I just remember Vaughn as someone that I was friends with years ago, and I'll just remember him as that Vaughn.
Yeah.
Will I ever become friends with him again? I don't know. I know that we've got several friends who are going to get married soon, and he's going to be in the groomsmen party, and I'll be in the groomsmen party, so at some point we're going to have to talk.
Yeah.
I've got friends who are going to get married and want me to be the celebrant whilst he is in the groomsmen party. You know, so if I'm up there cracking jokes, there's no way he's not going to laugh.
Yeah.
So there are these things coming up, and I know at some point things are going to have to come to a head, and we're going to have to sit there, man to man, and talk about it. And if he wants to fucking hit me, I'll stand there and let him hit me.
Yeah.
If that's what he wants. But if he's not willing to hit me, then it's not worth hating me over.
Yeah.
So that's the measure of a man, really, I believe. If you have a problem with someone, or if this is someone that you are friends with, but the issue isn't worth punching someone in the face over, or fighting, or going out in the parking lot and having a fucking fight.
Yeah.
If it's not worth that, then it's not worth living with hate in your heart.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you saw Luke and you said to him, it's either we sort this out now and just be friends again, or we go in the parking lot and talk.
Yeah.
And have a fight there. I'm sure it wouldn't come to that, so it's not worth wasting time, worrying about that shit.
Yeah.
If it's not worth fighting about with fists, then just get over it and just move on,
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
And, you're 27.
Yes.
So, this is just my advice to you as we're recording this. Just talk to him and sort it out, because the sooner you sort it out, the better you'll feel.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing as well, is, speaking of age, is I feel like I'm on the, back nines of, my age of drama. I'm just getting to that point where I just can't deal with, friendship drama anymore. I don't have the,
It shouldn't be that way at this age,
yeah.
dude, It shouldn't be like that anymore. And that's how I feel with Vaughn. I compare your relationship with Luke to mine and Vaughn. We were the best of friends.
Yeah.
We were so close. And because of one little issue, can't seem to find common ground and just talk normally.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm the enemy. And there's nothing I can change about it. So, okay. It comes to a point where I got to, get over it and move on.
Yeah.
But with you and Luke, that can be fixed. It's not that far gone.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, anything can happen. And I know you've had a situation with a friend that you never got the opportunity to sort it out with before their unfortunate passing.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to come around the corner, dude. So you never know if something bad will happen to someone. Just because just driving in your car is a terrible thing. You could be just going to the shop, and then some drunk driver has gone through a red light and killed you.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to think about. never leave any situation too far gone where you can't shake hands and be like, it was good to see you again. I'm glad we got over this.
Yeah.
Because any turn around the corner and someone could die, and then you would feel that regret in your heart that you never actually tried to sort it out.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for keeping up with us here. That was me basically talking to Blade as if we weren't even recording right now.
Yeah, it's like a counselling session.
Yes. Back onto it, Blade.
Yes.
Okay, so he was a big part of your early career, which is great.
Yeah.
Ace Silver, James O'Mac.
Yeah, we became quick friends when he joined XCW, and we hung out quite a bit for a very brief period. He always seemed to me like a really nice guy. He just had a lot of things going on. It seemed like his family life was not super stable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, his mum wasn't there. So it was just him and his dad. And,
his dad seemed really super supportive from what I remember.
Yeah, his dad was a really nice guy. But I think James just, had his own thing happening, and just, I don't know, kind of fell off the grid for a while.
Yeah.
But
good to be back in touch with him.
Yeah, it's nice to see him on Facebook, and hopefully he is actually keen to do this podcast, so the three of us can get together.
Yeah, well, I wanna hang out with him, watch some old AWL and NAW.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's only one video of footage from AWL out of 6 that he used to have.
Yeah, Jesus.
Which really upsets me
Yeah.
because I would like to see these other feds in WA that I never got to see and never got to hear about.
Yeah.
JD Flame.
Really smart dude. I actually wish I had the chance to talk to Justin more on a personal level, because I find him to be quite insightful, and he obviously, through his uni work and stuff, very intelligent dude, super talented in the ring from what I've seen, seems to understand quite a lot about the psychology and stuff, and I guess the more nuts and bolts aspects of wrestling. I'd love the opportunity to get to know him on a more personal level.
Dan Zeppelin.
Legend of backyard wrestling in WA for sure. Super chilled out. I think it's funny because me and him seem to be very similar in a lot of ways, which is maybe why we're not as close as one would think. But he's always made the time for me at shows to at least say hello. And yeah, we've been chatting a fair bit more recently.
Another person, I believe, that without me, without Dark Ice or DJ, you and Dan Zeppelin should hang out for beers. Just talk about your time in backyard wrestling. I mean, there's a lot of stories that you've got and a lot of stories he's got. And he's cool to chill with for beers, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny because recently I was talking to some of the guys on the thread, and I was saying, I'm not... it was about the ICWS show, and I was saying, look, I'm not in the best space at the moment. I just don't think I can do it, because I was pretty bummed out fairly recently. And he was actually the first guy to message me and be like, you okay, man? Do you need to chat? What's going on? I really appreciate that. I can't say that me and him are as close as you and I are, for example, but the fact that he went out of his way to check out on me was super cool.
As soon as you make those posts on Facebook, he's always the first one to really check up on you. He's a good egg.
Yeah.
Stacey.
Legend.
I don't even think of her as a chick anymore.
No.
I just think of her as a legend.
Yeah.
She is. She's a legend.
She...
And she was so sweet to Lily.
Oh, yeah.
I think Lily, really digs her now because it's Stacey was the first girl that wrestled in WA Yarding. Lila's the next one.
Yeah.
So now they'd met.
Yeah.
And now Lila loves her,
Yeah, and she's just so nice.
Like, has she ever had an issue with anyone? Has she
No.
ever done anything wrong? Never. She's always been just the sweetest, nicest girl.
And like, you know, chatting to her last show was like, wow, I really miss like getting the opportunity to spend time with her. You know, even though we didn't even talk about wrestling mostly, it was mostly about like, you know, what's been going on in the past like 5 years that we haven't like talked about.
Just savouring the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Like I showed her a picture of my kitty, and then she was like, because she has cats and
she loves
them.
cats.
So yeah, it was awesome. Like just catching up with her, and I'm looking forward to having her at future shows. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. She'll be at the next one, that's for sure.
Wicked
Nick James.
Oh.
You never met him, have you?
I have actually. We met at Thug Life.
Thug Life, yeah.
And then when I was at DJ's, he called DJ, and while we were like sorting out the booking, he was just on the phone. So we chatted, the three of us, for like 2 hours because he was just on the phone.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's like pretty interesting. He seems just like a really like chilled out dude.
He is. Like too chilled out almost.
Yeah, like I'd love to just like sit around and like smoke a few cones with him because I think he'd just be
he's
like
big on the cones.
Yeah, I've heard.
You can tell. Knuckles.
We have had no
you
interaction.
don't even know who he is.
I know he was at Thug Life as well, and we didn't talk at all. But from what I've heard, the word unorthodox gets thrown around a lot.
So does Lance Lightning.
Yeah. Lance
very
Lightning.
Similar, very
Knuckles,
similar, man. Very similar.
If that's the case, I would love the opportunity to have wrestled him then because, you know.
He's done. He said the only time he's coming out of retirement is to wrestle John Cena. So.
Unfortunately, I'm not John Cena.
You could be. Alright, who else is there? Luke Fuckhead. Monet.
Brown. CM Brown, actually, as I call him now, because he's got that stupid lip piercing. Like, talented. Everybody keeps saying this, but talented. Like, he can go as far as he wants to go.
Not just in backyard wrestling,
no,
pro wrestling.
But yeah, like pro wrestling as well. He's just got it. And this heel run, I think, just emphasizes that to a T.
Yeah.
He's a great face, but he, at the moment, appears to be an even better heel.
Ryan Tate.
Pro. I could see him quite easily making the transition to pro wrestling. But if there was anybody that I would call a professional in backyard wrestling, he would be it. Was super nice to me when I first rocked up. Now it's, common these days to see me, him and Lily all sitting together at shows because we're just, super close.
Yeah. Lila.
I love it a bit. It's weird because I don't see a lot of people talking to her at shows, and I think that's a travesty because she is a very interesting person.
She's cool as fuck, man.
Yeah, like she comes to shows, she watches and is enthusiastic and is involved, and I love talking to anybody because I like finding out about like who they are and what their life's like. And me and her, I think, share a lot of similar struggles, and so we connect that way, and it's really awesome to talk to her.
Share, connect. Ooh, Ryan, did you hear that?
Just throwing more fuel on the fire.
Yeah. It'd be good to have your actual girlfriend rock up at the next show and be like, "There's nothing going on."
Yeah. And Jade would actually do that. She'd be like,
she probably would.
She'd be like, nothing going on.
Ryan, there's nothing going on. Trust me. When he's done with me, there's nothing left. Alright?
And then she'd like suplex Ryan just because fucking like rough as guts.
Speaking of girlfriends in WZWA, Lily's done it. Yep. Rihanna's been involved. Or Alice.
Yeah.
But Chaos's girlfriend Jessie would love to be involved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's keen. She's like, she's pretty feisty young woman. She would do. I reckon she'd do well.
Yeah.
At least just as a ballet.
Yeah, for sure.
She'd do very well. All right. Who else? Who else is there that I have not mentioned so far? Nick Ariel. Let's just talk about Nick Ariel.
I love the fact that now we have a relationship. Like, before it was just like, oh, both of us are in XCW. Like, cool, whatever. But now it's like, I show up or he shows up. He's like, hey man, how's it going? Like, have a beer. Let's have a chat.
It's like as soon as you talk to him, he's already holding out a beer for you to drink.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, he'll give me a beer and then we'll just, like, shoot the shit and, like, take the piss out of it.
I always love, like, we always have an XCW section of the crowd.
it's like you, me, and Nick.
We're so fucking stuck up. Like, we're having an XCW section. Me, Hydro, Nick, and Blade. John sometimes, and maybe
Scorcher rocks up.
Scorcher rocks up. You're like, no, Scorcher, don't even talk to these cunts. It's just us and him. Speaking of Scorcher.
Entertaining as fuck. I remember saying to you very early on, I would love to see him in the WZWA environment because...
Well, he's a teacher now, so I don't think he can do it.
Yeah.
But, he came to one show. Very nice to see him there.
Yeah.
Want him to come back. Want to see him go out there and...
Oh, my God.
And entertain us.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to fucking wrestle a proper match. He can be against El Papacito.
Yeah.
All we need is just a bit of Scorcher.
I
just want the WWE guys to see what he can do because it's all improv.
Yeah.
It's all improv comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, like he, that match he had with John at, was it One Night Only?
Yeah.
So ridiculous, but so entertaining. Like, holy shit. That was not a wrestling match, but it was like, I can't even describe it.
I can't either, but you know what I'll say about Scorcher? Scorcher is a parody of a wrestler.
Yeah.
He does Scorcher doesn't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
He used to a little bit, but what he does is he goes out there and wrestles, and this is his definition of what a wrestler does.
Yeah.
And this is a funny version of what a wrestler does.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious every time. It doesn't matter who he's against. There's always something funny happening in the match.
And it's funny because, out of all the wrestling stuff that I did, the one thing that my mum remembers was the event that we had at my house, and it was Scorcher versus Horny Too Horny, and Lee went flying over the fence.
Yeah.
Into the next door neighbour's yard.
Yeah, I've got the footage.
And then they hop back over, and then the next door neighbours, like, after we finished taping, they came over and they gave us cake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're like, oh, we've got, like, a cake. Do you guys want it? Like, and so we just, like, get this cake.
So that actually helped relations with the neighbours.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that was always Lee's thing. He always ended up in the next door neighbour's yard at some point. Like when we had XCW Betrayal when he wrestled Horny Too Horny.
Yeah.
He got up onto the fence and then he did the frog splash into the neighbour's yard. Like he went the wrong direction. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Within 10 seconds of the match beginning, he's already broken the clothesline.
That match.
He fucking necks himself on the clothesline and then he fucking snaps the fucking rope on the clothesline. Oh my god.
Yeah, like entertaining as fuck. That's
like just even now we're just talking about it and now we're discovering memories and laughing so hard about it.
Yeah, like he has his place, I think, in WA yarding.
He does, and you know what? I'm saying it right now, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because Nick Ariel, Johnny V, they say, my favourite backyard wrestler of all time is Scorcher for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I can see where they're coming from because it's just entertainment. Central.
Yeah.
Aku. Norman McPherson. Norman will listen to this. I'll post this in the XW thread. And Norman will listen to this. Gotta love the Norman.
I remember touching, I think, on this in the XW part, but I always liked Norman because he was, I think, more mature than a lot of the guys in XCW. He seemed just like a lot more grounded and down to earth, and kind of less juvenile. And I think he copped a lot of flack from that, for that, like from Vaughn and Lee and shit. But I always respected that about him, and I think it was a shame to see him leave, especially because I know his father passed away, and then he obviously moved to Sydney with.
And then he moved to fucking
family.
China.
Yeah.
And now he's back in Sydney.
I know he's got like a partner with a kid and stuff.
I think he's got like several kids now.
Fucking hell. So
he's definitely got more than one kid. I can't remember how many now. It might be 2. I know it's 2, but it might be 3. I can't remember.
But it's funny because I like
Diffuser and IQ are just challenging one another. Who's going to have the more children? Who's going to keep having the more babies?
Most kids match. It's funny as well because I think if we were to like meet and hang out, we would probably be super like chill with one another because.
Well, I'm hoping Norman will come back to Perth at some point and hang out. And he said, "I want to do WZWA. I want to come out and cut a promo, at least a promo."
That'd be wicked.
Can you imagine? Aiku was fucking good at promos, man. You know, he was
very, very different on the mic to what we had at the time, and. Yeah, like, I just love the opportunity to hang out with him away from wrestling because, like, I've got him on Facebook and I see a lot of the stuff he's talking about and, like, he's super into, like card games like Magic the Gathering and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And me and him, like, share very similar interests in that vein, so I think we get
You're both nerds. Let's just admit it. You're both
nerds. We're both nerds. So
and Aiku, if you hear this, you come WZWA, you're wrestling me.
Yeah, and then
one more round, man. I will take you to Chinatown. No fucking pun intended. I'll take you down to Chinatown and I'll put you over in the center of the ring. You can beat me 1, 2, 3 with the IQ manhandle.
And then after that, you can face me in a game of Magic the Gathering because that'd probably be better than the wrestling match.
Excellent, fantastic. Who else is there? Steel Kemsley.
I love Steel. Like, he's super, like, awkward. He comes up to me at the events and he's like, "Hey, man." And he'll say it in, like, almost a whisper. And then he'll, like, put his hand out to me and I shake his hand. And I'm like, "Hey, Steel, how's it going?" Once I was coming back from uni in the city, like, a couple of months ago and he got on in Perth when I was coming through. Oh, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Steel." And he's like, "Oh, how's it going?" And he sat down and, like, we had a good, like, half an hour, 45-minute chat just about, like, wrestling and WWE and stuff. And, yeah, like, it's been awesome to also see him improve, like, so much over the past year in WZWA.
He's grown as a performer.
I think people marked out for him at the start as a joke, because...
Oh, yeah, no, when he first joined, we were all laughing at him.
Yeah.
Now...
Like,
no one's laughing anymore.
Mark
now
out
everyone's
him
like, "Holy
legitimately."
shit!" Like, and it keeps growing every single show. Like, as far as I'm concerned, still Kemsley's number one babyface in WZWA.
Yeah, legit.
Doesn't matter who the number one actual babyface is. He gets the biggest reaction out of everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a few more. Lance Lightning. This is where I start to do
the patter out.
The patter out, and people that meant something.
Okay, yeah. Love Les. I remember we actually talked quite a lot, like, back in the day in XCW, especially, like, online, we talked quite a lot. He had an awesome taste in music. We'd always talk shit about metal. And, yeah, he, like, based on what I touched on previously, he means quite a lot in my backyard wrestling career. I wish all the best of luck to him on whatever he's doing at the moment.
He's like a fly in, fly out guy.
Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook.
He's doing alright. I think he's doing alright. We almost caught up about, a month ago to have some beers. But I thought to myself, you know what, I want to get him here on the podcast. So at some point I could get him here. I can't wait to hear what he has to say, because he probably can't remember anything.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, so you remember that match against Blade?" Not really.
No, not really, no. No, fucking. O Factor.
Yeah, another big part of my career, and
It's a shame because he was going to be the first Grand Slam champion in XCW. He was on track to.
Aside from the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
He's going to be the first person to have won the tag titles, the TV title, the Hardcore title, the Extreme Carnage title, heavyweight title.
Yeah.
He's going to win it at Extreme Revolution 3 in 2004. But Extreme Revolution 3 ended up being 2010. So.
Just a bit later than
It's a bit later, but, it is what it is. But
he means so much to developing my character and getting me to a place where I was able to feud with John and be able to move on from that program to, even better stuff.
Preston Cruz / Taser.
The fact that we're sitting here having beers and doing this podcast is fucking bizarre. Like, we have known each other for, 13 years now? We have hung out very few times, but...
Maybe like 4 times.
Yeah, and, I think we're probably the closest that we've ever been at this point in time than we ever have been in the past. And that part, to me, is more important and more, I guess, meaningful than probably anything that we've done in the ring.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not to say stuff we haven't done in the ring is not awesome or I haven't enjoyed, but
No.
I think the influence that we've had on one another outside of the ring probably outweighs the influence that we've had on each other inside wrestling.
Gotcha. Have I said Johnny B?
Nah.
Johnny B?
Like I said, brought me to the dance. I was not a star or a standout until I had
you
the
were a
opportunity.
superstar in the making.
Exactly. I was a Saliva superstar too, in the making, until I got the chance to wrestle John, and having that opportunity to do so, propelled me to a point where it could have been believable that maybe I would have won the heavyweight title at some point.
Jack Wallace.
Cool kid. I think very misunderstood, and I feel sorry for him sometimes because a lot of the guys at WZWA seem to pick on him without much
I think that's past now. I think it's just no one does that anymore.
Yeah, and it's rightfully so. Like, he has given a lot to WZWA, especially with, you have to be thankful to him and Noel for the opportunity that they've given us all to wrestle in the ring, because otherwise a handful of us would have never had the chance at all. And to be able to do that consistently over the past, 3-4 years that WZWA has run, that speaks volumes to the character of both of them, really.
Kai Fusion.
Interesting kid, very talented. I think if he sticks with wrestling and if he wanted to make it a legitimate career path, he could actually probably do very well. He just needs to bulk up for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty slim.
He's scrawny as fuck. And yeah, get proper training, and I think that the sky's the limit.
Big Ace.
I say this legitimately on the podcast right now. I feel really bad because I would love the opportunity to talk to Ace more. We have shitloads in common, away from wrestling. We both love wrestling, but, he's super into anime, super into games. We've chatted a bit, online and stuff, but I would love the opportunity to, just chat and hang out with him more at shows. So, if you're listening to this, dude, just, hit me up at shows and stuff. Be less quiet and less introverted.
I think you will be, because recently me and Monet and him have been doing
GTA
online. Oh man.
Yeah.
He does not keep quiet there.
Yeah, that's that would be more of the Ace that I want to see, just uninhibited.
I spoke to him more on GTA Online than actually in person.
Yeah.
Like, well, oh my god! Honestly, in all honesty, it took me, him, and Monet about 8.5 hours to complete a heist on GTA 5. Sorry. We're doing the prison break heist.
Yeah.
Took us in total 8.5 hours to get that done.
Jesus Christ. It's longer than a WZWA.
It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But he was on the microphone the whole time. Got to talk to him way more there than I did any other time. So, Arthur Aries.
I haven't spoken to him much either, but he seemed
potential.
Yeah, like it's one of those words, potential, that gets thrown around a whole lot. But he seemed like he had the potential to be, very far up the card if he'd just been more committed and sorted his own personal life
And it's
out.
sorting out, so he should be back. Acid.
Blazed as fuck and black
time.
as. The best memories I have of Acid is when he came to that hangout that we were having at my house, and I'm sitting there, and me and him don't really speak that much. And he turns to me and he goes, "Hey Blade, man, do you like watch Naruto?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And he's like, "It's fucking sick, eh?" And it's like classic Thai, like, but yeah, like
that's the Thai I miss.
Yeah, I just wish he had stuck with it and had.
I wish he got over whatever it was he was going through at the time and just kept going.
But he seems like another one of those guys, and I think it's very funny that backyard wrestling attracts these sort of people, but he has a lot going on, and he needs to get it sorted out, and I know what that feels like. I'm one of those. There's been many of us that have been in the same sort of situation, but yeah, I know that there's been like whispers on the wind, maybe that he might possibly be interested in coming back.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's a slim
I'll believe
chance.
it when I see it.
Yeah, but if that was even remotely true, I'd love to see him come back.
All right, and do 3 more. How's that sound?
All right,
Mike Del Cano.
Like I said earlier, talented as fuck. Sky's the limit. He is professional, talented, driven. I wouldn't be surprised if he was wrestling internationally after he gets over his injury and moves on.
He'll get there.
Yeah.
He'll get there. Ryan Tate.
Man, like if you're my XCW bro, Ryan is pretty much my WZWA bro, along with DJ. Like, they're the two guys I've connected with the most. And Ryan.
Did I forget to ask DJ? Oh, I'll do that after this one.
Okay.
I'll do one more.
Yeah, I owe a lot of my early kind of comfortability to Ryan, and he is bringing me to a point, and I hope I have brought him as well to a point where we may be about to have the best match of both of our careers.
I think, thinking about it, the work he's done with you with this storyline on the side, I really think that it's brought out a side of him that's made me think, like, if he was like about 6'4", he would be an amazing WWE superstar.
Yeah.
I think his facial expressions, the way he sells the story, it's just like this guy, if he was not fucking
a midget,
if he wasn't Hornswoggle 2.0, he would be, without a doubt, tough enough. If you put him in Tough Enough, he will win Tough Enough.
Yeah, he'd shit on Josh.
Everyone would fucking love him. Alright? And my WCW Thunder file on views has only downloaded 12.1% of my 1999, which sucks. It's been several hours now, but let's continue. Second last one, sorry. Daniel Johnston.
Yeah. It's funny because, we had that group we had that match with the play group in XCW, and then me and him didn't really cross paths until I came to WZWA. And it was just, it's been awesome getting to know him, and it's funny that, like, now we're super close, and, like, to think back, I've known him for quite a long time now, but it's only, like, up until this point where we've started to connect a lot more. And the thing I appreciate most about DJ is that generally most of the time he will be straightforward. You know, we watched our tag team match back, like, when we hung out, and it was cool because... Oh, wait, no, we watched our Bowl of Mixed Nuts match, that's right. And he gave me feedback, and he was like, man, like, you should try and work on this and this, and he's like, it just makes more sense if you do this, this, and this. And I was like, yeah, like, I completely understand that. Of watching it with him and getting that feedback, he gets it and he understands the fundamentals, I suppose, very well.
Excellent. And lastly, Blade Shaw.
What do I mean to myself?
Who is Blade Shaw? What does Blade Shaw mean to Blade Shaw?
What
does Blade Shaw the character mean to Blade Shaw the person?
I think it's funny in a lot of ways. Like, losing for all that time and coming up through XCW is like how I feel personally about myself. Like, I always feel like I've been the scrappy underdog, and I haven't had my moment of triumph yet, but I'm looking for it to happen before I finish. And if it does, holy shit, there's so many things I want to accomplish, and I just hope within the, probably 1 to 2 year period that I have left that I can actually manage to achieve those things. Because, this is something I've done since I was 15, and I'm so close to hitting 30 now. It's like, holy shit, backyard wrestling will have essentially taken up as much of, if not just a little bit more than half of my life.
Yeah. Is how I feel, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
1999 I started.
But
I gotta be out of this shit.
You're a former 11-time heavyweight champion.
Fucking hell.
I'm still, this is elusive to me, like, heavyweight title. I still haven't had that moment, and I just...
I've won 11. I've also lost 11.
That's true. You're an 11-time winner and loser.
I won all those titles, but also lost them. So there's a lot of pressure that comes along with that type of thing, bro.
It's that chestnut of wisdom that maybe...
But, I would give one of those title reigns any day for you to have at least one. So, if it does happen, it does. If not...
Still had a hell of a career.
You've had a hell of a career. I don't know while you're on the booking committee if it will ever happen.
Yeah.
But, I think I can say that you deserve a title shot at least.
Yeah.
At least, But one more question I want to ask you. Do you have any regrets?
I regret the one black spot in XCW of not telling you guys why I wasn't coming to the show and not being honest. Because I feel like my career in XCW was one that I could be proud of because I was committed and dedicated, and I would do like anything for XCW. And unfortunately, I just had that moment of like selfishness and weakness, and that to me will always be that one black spot that I can never get rid of. But it is what it is, and nobody's perfect.
We've all moved on.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I had any regrets, that would be it.
And do you have any lasting comments to say to anyone out there that has followed your backyard wrestling career, or is a peer of yours that has seen you in any sense of your career?
To anyone that I've ever wrestled or been involved with or has, even taken the time to speak to me at a backyard wrestling show. I want to say thank you. Each person on, the path that I've taken over 12 years now, 13 years, I've met a hell of a lot of people. I've met some really amazing people. And, the fact that we're sitting here, we never went to school together. We have no past besides backyard wrestling. But we're sitting here, we've downed an entire carton of beer, and we've been shooting the shit.
Well, let's be honest. I've had 12 beers, you've had 10. You've got 2 more to go.
Oh, well, you overtook me.
I did.
Oh man, I don't even know
These 2 are yours.
Oh, I thought
these 2 are yours.
I thought we had one each.
I've been
left.
waiting for you to keep going, and here I am, fucking standing here like the sap that I am, waiting for you to keep going, and I'm like, well, shit, I've got nothing else but fucking sipping on gin and juice, laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Yeah.
Alright, Blade, well, thank you very much for the interview.
I'm glad we got to do this because the first one that we had was very brief.
That was the first ever podcast on the GBYWN Australia podcast. It's about, 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Very nice. But that was just me getting my feet wet, figuring out how it works. So thank you for doing that one. But thank you for doing this now 4-part series, which hopefully takes us into maybe episode 40. I don't know. I can't remember where I'm at. But thank you very much, Blade. You have meant so much to WA Yarding. Before ICWS, before WZWA, you were a tag team champion. You were a very solid part of a backyard wrestling group that went on for 10 years. And you were an outsider. You came in, you joined, you made a name for yourself, you stuck around. You became just as big of a part of it as me, Diffuser, John, Chris, Vaughn, Mike, Stacey, all of us. You got into that final crew of people that stuck around all that time. And you mean a lot to XCW. You mean a lot to WZWA. You have defined your career in WZWA so far. And I know there's going to be better things to come than ICWS. And within, the next, year, I'm definitely not going to be around much longer, but I hope we'll be able to end our careers around the same time so we can
Ride off into the sunset
for real this time, for the real last time. We've already done it twice. The next time will be the real last time. We'll hang out after the show, we'll have some beers and be like, well, that's it, man.
We're done.
Next time we hang out, we're just watching footage and shit.
Yeah.
So, at some point, something's got to give and we're both going to retire, but
I think it'll probably be the knees, man.
My left knee's done.
The knees
I've got a torn meniscus, so I'm going to keep going, but my left knee's fucked, and my right elbow's fucked, and my ankles are fucked. But you know what? We're going to keep persevering. We're going to keep going. So maybe 2017 will be done. But and to think you started in 2002.
Yeah.
I started in 1999. This is mental, but thank you very much for doing the podcast, Blade.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. And just thank you for everything that you've done to enrich the experience that I've had over the last, 16 years. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, dude. And thank you to everybody else. It's been amazing.
So, there it is, the GBYWN Australia podcast episode, I don't even fucking know, probably 39 or 40, I can't remember where I'm at. I think Dan was 36. I think his last one was 36, so this must be 40. So, if this is episode 40, sweet. If not, fuck it, who gives a shit. Thank you for listening to the GBYWN Australia podcast. Your host, Aston Crude, alongside Blade Shaw.
Yep.
And we will see you next time, when I will hopefully be finally interviewing Mykonos. How many weeks have I gone on about interviewing Mykonos? I will hopefully have my interview with Mykonos, and coming soon, very big interview with Chris Zeppelin
Oof.
So thank you very much for listening to the GBYWN Australia podcast. Aston Creed signing out. Thank you again.
Peace out.